Welcome back to Bad Movies Rule, the worst movie podcast ever recorded. And today, don't worry, strap in, buckle up. The moon will help us.
Moon.
I can't believe she said that.
But is it really the moon?
I don't know.
This movie can rewrite your understanding of the universe.
In that it disobeys all laws of physics and nature.
They had NASA advisors, so maybe
They
not.
did?
Yeah, maybe this is the secret NASA doesn't want us to know.
And this is their way of letting everybody know?
That's right.
Well, let's
We
just
told
stuff.
you they're going to come out one day. We showed you. This was a documentary.
We'll just stuff all of our secrets into a Halle Berry movie.
Yeah.
And that's how we're going to lay it out.
She's still pretty impressive as an actress.
And no one will ever believe it.
No. They won't.
Welcome in, guys. This is Bad Movies Rule, and we're talking about certainly not the best movie we've ever talked about, but the most recent movie that we've ever talked about.
Fresh off
The recentest.
That's right.
the reels. Or
What this came out in 2022.
It did.
This year.
This is what happens when China funds a movie.
Was it a China movie?
Was it
was.
Chinese? Or I wasn't sure it was Korean or Chinese.
Is that why it didn't have like a North American release, really?
It did. It was on HBO Max.
Well, no, but I mean like in theaters.
It didn't have a very well received
Yeah.
I
release.
think by the end
Okay.
of this discussion, we will know why it didn't have a
I think we
wide
will.
North American release.
Joining us this evening is Charles Hewitt.
Yes.
Charles, how are you, buddy?
I am doing very well. It's nice
Props.
to be back. I love props.
This is awesome.
Yes, I live for this.
This is a full-on Lego space shuttle you've got here
It
with
is.
us.
It's very apropos.
It is. I know you also have a Saturn V because I've seen
I do.
it too.
Yes, I
That's
did.
even more
It's
ginormous
huge. Yeah, it's like 5
than this,
feet.
but this is big too.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
Joining us also this evening is Bob Hauser. Bob, what's up, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. It's been too long. It's been almost a month since you've been on the show.
Yeah.
Last Action Hero, yeah.
Yeah, right. So I'm just glad you're here because there's a different tenor in the room, a vibe, an energy. I can see your aura around you. It's clear, but I know it's there.
I
This
can
is
smell.
the first time I've filmed with Bob, and he's wearing somewhat normal clothes.
Yeah, right.
Or clothes at all.
I can smell something.
Nicole, you weren't here, but when we did the Wraith, he
Yeah.
showed up in what would you call it? Lingerie.
It was very light blue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
lace blue
just on the
lingerie.
top. Don't worry, he had pants on.
I
but-
was worried.
We're not sure what was on
worry.
under his shorts, but that's a question we don't need to know.
Also joining us today is Nicole Freer, back again. Let's go.
Hello. If Bob is the tenor, then I'm the soprano.
Facts.
Am I the baritone?
Well, if we want to keep with that theme, then
We
yeah.
could. We have a quartet here.
Right, then I'll be the conductor because I'm not going to
You're
sing.
not going to sing?
No.
I bet you
should
have a
sing.
lovely bass voice.
Sure, maybe.
You should sing.
Maybe.
can all,
Moonfall, nothing but moonfall.
no. It needs to be Africa.
Oh, that's right.
Toto. I had high hopes
Yeah.
when that song was on.
Let's talk about the vitals, just so everybody knows exactly what we're talking about here. We'll get through the particulars of the movie, and then what we generally do after that, for those of you who are new to the show, is we'll walk through the plot of the movie step by step. And then at the end, we'll throw some flowers at it, give it some awards, because I guarantee you nobody else did. And,
Well, it's still early still. It was just out this year.
well,
It's got
I'm just
time.
going to...
Oscar season's coming, man.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and probably going to get shut out. I don't know what you guys think.
My assumptions are the same.
I struggled, but I managed to find a Babe Award.
You did?
Oh, that's right. I
great.
was on this show with you last time that
Yeah.
came up.
I did.
All right. Well, look, so this movie is called Moonfall. And I thought it was going to be awesome. And the reason I thought it was going to be awesome is because of the director, is Roland Emmerich,
Roland Emmerich.
who directed Independence Day
And Universal Soldier.
and Universal
I
Soldier.
haven't seen that one yet.
And 2012 was his.
And the Day After Tomorrow.
Day After Tomorrow.
All of those are in this movie.
Except for two corpse soldiers fighting each other.
Right. So the one thing his pedigree is wanton and crazy destruction and devastation. I mean, that's what
Well, he
that's his
accomplishes
wheelhouse.
that.
Yeah, so yes, absolutely. But this is why they hired. Well, I thought, that's why they hired Roland Emmerich. But then I looked and I saw he also wrote the movie, so
Yes.
he hired himself,
His idea came up after making Independence Day 2.
which was terrible.
Yeah, it took him 4 years to write this.
Well, when you don't have Will Smith.
Well, why do you think he said no?
He didn't say no. They refused to pay him $20 million. That's what he asked for. When someone asks you, like Will Smith, I'll do it for 20 million.
Hey,
just do it.
until the Oscars,
not
Will
that
Smith was
hard.
totally worth
You
20
just
million.
say it like Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
Just
you're right.
do it.
But seriously, like Schwarzenegger, Willis, or anybody said 20 million.
Okay, if it was one of their properties, like, yeah, they're like, we want to make Die Hard 6, but we don't want to pay Bruce Willis. They're like, well, what are you doing, right?
Independence Day was Will Smith.
I agree with you. In this case, Will Smith, like, why are you even bother making it without Will Smith?
Right.
Yeah, or someone like him.
And then they kill him off in it.
Did they?
Yeah.
Off screen? Because you didn't do it, right? Yeah.
He
So.
died of a plane
Spoiler.
crash.
Spoiler,
It's
Independence
actually
Day
in the-
2 sucked.
There was a spoiler in the trailer.
I never saw that. Does he die in the beginning of that movie?
No,
He wasn't
dies
in
the
it at all.
trailer. Like they show the trailer of his ship crashing.
Oh.
Yeah.
And his son's like,
No.
Daddy.
Yeah.
Have you seen Top Gun 2 yet?
I loved it. Great movie.
Let's talk about Moonfall, though. This movie was also co-written by Harold Klaser, I don't know. Anyway, it was a guy that works with Roland all the time. He co-wrote a lot of those movies we just talked about with him. And then Spencer Cohen, which is not the Cohen that you want writing your movies,
Yes.
but one of the other Cohens.
Are they related?
I don't think so. Movie starred Halle Berry, Patrick Wilson, John Bradley, and Michael Pena, along with others. This was the thing This movie had a budget of $140 million.
Ow. Oof.
140.
That's a lot of money.
They spent that on this.
How much did Halle Berry get?
I don't know. You want to look that up?
100.
No way.
I'm joking.
That's a lot of money.
On this, $140 million.
Who greenlit this program?
Like you can tell there's money in it. It's just I don't know.
As you know, no one can waste money like movie directors. They excel at it.
Especially old Roland Emmerich.
It's like 140 million. We can blow through that in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Let's make a movie about the moon crashing into the earth.
Just more explosions.
More explosions. So here's why this is really bad that they spent $140 million making this movie, because they made $59 million.
I feel bad for him.
Ouch.
That hurts.
They took a bath.
That's a big bad.
And only 18 million of that was in North America. So I think it got an international theater release. And maybe it was in limited theaters in the US or whatever, where the US theaters or the distributors went like, no. We're not doing
That's
this.
bad news.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
Back to your question about
Yes.
Halle Berry's salary. Her and Patrick Wilson both walked away with $10 million.
Oof.
Oh,
At least Patrick
Goodness.
Wilson
So they
actually
weren't-
worked for his $10 million.
they weren't even paying their stars.
No, I mean, that's a lot of money. I want to act like that's not a lot of money.
But Donald Sutherland walked away with $120K.
120K.
That's all I got.
To
All
be
right.
in a wheelchair and then go and commit suicide.
He was
All
the best
right.
part of the movie.
The movie is currently sitting at a 5.2 on IMDb, which is right in our wheelhouse for this stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
36% on Rotten Tomatoes. So,
Can I
2/3 of
what
critics hated
shocked
it.
me on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah.
70% audience score.
Yeah.
That shocked me.
2/3 of the audience liked it, and 1/3 of the critics did.
70% of
It's
the
not a bad.
audience.
It's an entertaining movie.
Look at Nicole, so surprised.
Oh, I was shocked.
It's just
when I
there's
saw
just
it.
a lot of movies.
Hey, if I'm gonna watch, I'm just
in
saying
one
this.
movie.
I would watch this over Hamilton. So,
Yeah?
I
yes.
also
Oh,
can I
well,
just,
yes, that's a
can we talk
given.
about the
ahead.
title for just a second?
Yeah, let's talk about
I
Moonfall.
don't understand Hamilton.
I at the end of the movie you get it, but with the number of times they said this word, why didn't they call it megastructures?
Yes.
Yes.
That should have been the name of the
and,
movie.
Right.
And you knew they're in trouble because they never actually said the word Moonfall in the movie.
No, because they named it that 7 months after they finished filming it,
Yes.
probably.
They were getting closer to Mass Effect.
All right, so here's what I want. Yes. Could you look up what the poster tagline? I love poster taglines,
They have posters.
right? Well, they have posters for movies, and there's
make
always the
posters?
tagline like,
Oh, it's the dark side of the moon. Hold on, I know the one you're talking about.
for instance, if they're making Moonfall 2, the tagline on the poster would say, "The moon is back, and this time it's pissed."
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, we might get a Moonfall 2.
Just we thought it was safe to go back in space.
That's right. So what does it say?
In 2022, humanity will face the dark side of the moon.
Okay, exactly. It's
Amazing.
pissed. The moon's pissed. What were you going to say?
I was going to say that
Dark
if they
side.
do number 2, well, I didn't like that at all. I'll just say
It
that
would be,
again.
that'd be right, though.
If
That
they
would- yeah,
did,
that would be right.
if they did a sequel, they need Jason Statham in it because he needs to pronounce megastructures like he pronounced megalodon.
It's a megalodon.
It's a megalodon.
And he needs to punch the moon right in the face.
Punch it in the
That's what okay, why don't let's recast the movie.
And drive
Chuck
a car
Norris.
really fast.
Chuck Norris.
Roundhouse kicks the moon when it gets close enough and
Back
sends
to
it
the
back
sun.
Get out of
into its
here,
orbit.
moon.
It's
Stop
as
bothering my
believable.
Earth.
It's as believable.
Yes.
It is. You're right.
Maybe more so.
All right. So those are the particulars.
Put him on a
And,
peak of a high mountain and let him kick the moon.
you know, that's not a terrible idea for
Yeah.
a movie.
Yeah.
Put Norris on Mount Everest. Wait for the moon to get close.
There you go.
And just let him let one roundhouse kick.
Chuck Norris can do it.
Have Schwarzenegger throw him the moon. Schwarzenegger
Oh.
catch the moon. Have him throw the
there
moon
you
right
go.
at Chuck Norris, and Chuck Norris does.
And
the
you know,
spin kick.
and you know what? We love our listeners so much. If we could, we'd give you guys the moon. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you guys. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or really any app, if it allows for a review and you can go on there and drop us 5 stars, it helps us get pushed out to more people. We would greatly appreciate that. And if you could, you know, if you're interested, rather, for only $3 a month, you can be part of our Patreon. And so you get all kinds of bonus content, bonus recordings. You can vote on upcoming episodes. You can even submit some awards to be read on the show.
Which we do.
Yes. And you get to watch great movies like Moonfall.
That's right. So
Can we get
it's a
Jason
win-win.
Statham to say Patreon?
Patreon. We could. You know, we'll just go on Cameo and pay $900. We can get him to say that our podcast is cool too.
There you go.
That's so many $3 is.
It is. It's a lot. All right, let's jump into this movie because I can't wait to talk about this. I want to set the tone right away so you guys understand what's happening here. But essentially, the main stars are Halle Berry and Patrick Wilson. Both of them are astronauts.
Yes.
Okay.
Highly qualified.
Highly qualified astronauts. And the movie begins with a prologue in 2011 of them astronauting together.
Yes. Spacewalk for Patrick Wilson.
Yeah. And they're fixing a satellite or
And
something.
they're talking about stuff they really shouldn't be doing while they're working on billions of dollars worth of equipment.
Yeah, so the whole thing starts with this.
No sense of urgency.
Let's talk about Toto.
It was them. It was like a poor attempt at them being Tarantino. Like so many times after Tarantino started talking about music and things like that in movies, other people started trying to be clever, and it's just never as good. And it's honestly, I'm like, okay, they're talking about Toto's, the rains in Africa or whatever, and that's cool. But what I didn't realize is that it would be the last memorable line of dialogue
I
that they
know.
had in the entire movie.
I was literally excited. I was like, this is going to be great. Toto's a great song. It's interesting.
Yeah.
enough
So they're trying
banner.
to establish their space wife and husband
They're
with some
not.
kind of banter.
But their work husband
Their
and
work
wife.
husband.
Right.
Well,
They have
work
their own.
spouse.
Yes, work
Whatever.
spouses.
My wife
which
was
is great.
confused. She was watching with me at this point. And she said, wait, are they married? I said, I don't think so. Because she said,
Right.
I'm
why
here on my
they
honeymoon.
specified, yeah.
And then work husband. like-
Work husband.
Yeah.
And while the work spouses are working, and they also have this like rookie kid with them, and don't worry what his name is because it's not going to matter. He's a red shirt from Star Trek.
Yeah,
right.
you know he's in trouble.
He's 100% expendable.
Yeah, which means, Bob, because based on what you wore today, you're going to be the first one to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I'm the world's greatest
That's
farter.
right. He's got
That's
his
right.
red shirt on.
The red shirt. Well, that's the red shirt thing. Do you know about that from Star Trek?
No.
So back on the old TV show, there's like different colored shirts that the crew members on Star Trek wore. And the Star Trek guys that wore the red shirts were always the ones that are killed before the first commercial to prove the situation's dangerous, which is the whole joke they made with the guy in Galaxy Quest. Guy in Galaxy Quest.
Okay. That
And,
makes more sense now.
Yes. So
Let's
you're a
get
red
out of here
shirt.
before Guy gets killed.
That's right. All right. So they're up there doing their stuff, and this black space blob attacks.
Shape-shifting alien.
Right.
That thing was awesome.
It was cool. I had no problem with how that thing looked. I
All
thought
of
it
a
was
sudden,
pretty cool.
something comes
So then
up.
I thought the movie Pixels was going to come through part of it. There were so many red herrings
Yes.
throughout the movie. Like, oh, that was nothing. Okay, great.
Almost everything was nothing.
Yes.
Almost everything was just plot threads constantly dropped and never
Yep.
returned to.
Is that why I was confused a lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was a poorly written mess. But that doesn't mean I didn't like it or that it wasn't enjoyable. It was just a mess. You'll just have to wait till the end of the episode to find out what I really thought.
There was promise.
There was conceptually promise.
I actually felt I was identifying with the discussion on the lyrics because I often don't get the lyrics of songs and like make up lyrics. Like he was trying to figure out what's the lyric in Toto.
Oh, for
In
sure.
Africa, I mean by Toto.
For sure. And I thought
And
that
I'm
was
like,
the
oh.
lyrics,
Yeah.
the ones that he was
you?
saying. Yes.
Yeah.
And so Brian and the rookie red shirt guy are outside on the satellite, and Halle Berry's in the spaceship. And so when the space blob attacks,
shuttle.
whatever,
spaceship.
space shuttle.
We haven't arrived. Space.
Vehicle of
Sorry, I've been
interstellar.
reading a lot of science fiction. So
No, but Halle Berry gets knocked out, and then the two, Patrick Wilson and the rookie, are kind of floating through space.
Yes.
And Patrick Wilson's kind of like sucks to suck. He dips back into the space shuttle.
He gets flung around on his tether and he gets sucked
He
right
doesn't
back
barf
in.
once.
No.
No, he
That
doesn't.
bothered me. I was like,
Well,
come
there's
on.
weightlessness. I don't know. Maybe they learned. To do
And then he gets in, and then he starts to try and
that
call
would
his
be
friend,
such
like,
a
dude, where are you? Are you out there? I'm like,
If you're as good looking as him, I'm not saving. Nope, not this face. Sorry,
Nope.
buddy. Goodbye. Disconnect. See you
yeah, so
later.
that's exactly what happens. He-
Yep.
Yeah, he can't get him.
Oh,
he
no.
almost gets
No.
him.
Yep.
No, almost.
doesn't-
Sorry, you're the minority.
He's
I'm
gone.
out.
So the
True,
George
they did that
Clooney's out there
trope.
too somewhere.
somewhere he's floating.
Find George Clooney.
Find George. That's Moonfall too.
I did think about it. Did have a gravity feel at that moment.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And if you get to another spaceship, Ryan the Reynolds is floating in that one too
With Jake Gyllenhaal.
with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
What movie's that?
That's Life.
It's the alien ripoff.
It's underrated, but not as good as Alien. Anyway, so basically to end the prologue, they're kind of passing in and out of consciousness, and this goop tornado is now on the moon trying to dig a
Yes,
hole.
it digs a hole in the moon.
Smash cut to 2013.
Yeah.
Why 2013?
I don't know. 2 years later.
Because it's like 18 months later is what you hear in the exposition, right? And like, why are we setting this randomly in 2013? It's not real
Wasn't
events.
it 10 years later in 2021?
I thought.
It was very confusing.
It wasn't clear because I thought on the news because right after this the lady comes on, she's like, I'm what's her face from Exposition News, and this is the exposition.
Right. That's true. They did that, and then they went farther.
Right.
So it was essentially when the boy was young and the boy was old.
Yes,
is
he
what
was
they were
watching the trial of his dad
Yes. Yeah.
getting.
But then when they
fired.
jumped again, that was when that wasn't clear that they had jumped again, and I thought we
that
were
was
still
confusing.
in 2013.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so anyway,
the timeline was confusing.
there's two time jumps. They jumped to 2013 because there's an 18-month.
Trial. Well, he's getting fired.
I
Yes.
love it how they have video proof of this thing
Yes.
going right at them, and they're like,
Liar.
It's like the town people in Jaws too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hey, seaweed?
Yeah, it's seaweed.
It's a shark. What? What?
What?
Yeah, I had that comment immediately. I'm like,
There's a solar flare.
Solar flare? It's black.
yeah, solar flare.
It's black.
How
it's
would
not
a solar flare cause all that damage and destruction and
It's
flipping
barreling
around?
at them.
And we
Right.
learn later he lands a shuttle with no power, which is like impossible.
Right.
But
We gotta stop hiring dogs.
All of a sudden, he's fired for doing
Like
his job.
Sully.
NASA fires him hard. And they tried to make it look like Halle Berry sold him out, but she didn't really.
Yeah, but that comes up later. And you're like, well, they didn't show us that totally.
No. And anyway, the kid's watching it, and the news lady's like, all right, your dad sucks now, and he's
it
fired.
ruins
Oh
both
yeah,
Halle
the wife
Berry's-
leaves him. The wife
Yeah.
leaves him. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. But
And-
put his picture in the box. Like,
Okay,
why? What
so
did I do?
then let's talk about the divorce. Can
And
we
your-
talk
and
about
your
the divorce?
horrible bangs.
You leave him over the space blob?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
For a-
ridiculous.
For a
Maybe-
car
well,
salesman?
He
He
became
didn't cut
erratic.
it.
Maybe the relationship had
That's true.
trouble. James.
Yeah.
No.
They had trouble.
That's not his fault. She should have supported him through his blob PTSD.
But there was some, for sure, there was some exposition where they're like, and that's why we lost the house. Like
Yes.
literally, I was like,
Yeah, how do you lose a house
that's
to that?
clear because he stopped making money.
Because it stole his money
Yeah.
when it flew through them.
Yes.
Right.
It
Well,
took his
he
space
obviously
wallet.
To
spent a
hold your
lot of
wallet in
money.
a fanny pack, and this wouldn't have happened.
He obviously
Space
spent a lot
wallet.
of money on cars and motorcycles, so maybe he wasn't a good financial
They didn't have a
planner.
savings account.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's blasting off to space, and this has
ends
ruined him financially.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now he's got to wake up and make
Not
Right.
mention he's a highly trained
masculine
pilot and
masculine meals with a
obviously-
blender.
What I wanted is a cutback after the space blob is trying to drill a hole through the moon, and this is a real sentence from a movie that I watched.
Except it's
Is I wanted the Tiger King shot of him in the space shuttle that says, "I'm never going to financially recover from this."
that would have been.
They could have done a
awesome.
barista scene, failed, you know.
They're right.
Well, and it ruined the Halle Berry's marriage too,
Yeah, so Halle Berry ends up divorced.
or at least not happily married anymore.
Well, no,
Well, they
they're
foreshadowed
divorced.
that because
Yeah.
she skipped her honeymoon to go into space.
To go into space.
So you knew that
But
was going to
still,
not work.
that's
Well,
true.
that husband of hers was a robot.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep skipping too far forward
Right.
here. So then we meet this guy named Casey. Okay, Casey's played by John Bradley, who you might know as Samuel Tarly from
I like
Game
him.
of Thrones.
He's a great actor.
And he's like this conspiracy theorist who also works at a drive-through.
Dr. Hausman.
Yes, Dr. Hausman.
In
Dr.
quotes.
Hausman.
And they kind of introduce him, showing him breaking into UC Irvine.
Which was cool because I used to live around Irvine.
Did you?
I did, yeah.
Oh, so you're familiar with it.
I broke into UC Irvine many times.
Oh, perfect.
Actually
To steal
never
classified moon
Of
data.
course. What else would you do in Irvine?
He's like, I need the moon data. It's got to be a UC Irvine.
Enjoy the weather, maybe?
Why is it there? Why is the moon data inside this
I mean,
college?
it's a world class university.
Is it?
I
Why
think.
not?
Okay.
I don't know about science and engineering.
So after he gets his moon data, he just goes and he works at this drive-through where people.
Yeah, it's confusing.
I enjoyed the lady who was ordering her sandwich.
Yeah. So what kind of place is that? It was
Deli sandwich.
pastrami explosion or whatever it was.
It was a hamburger joint that had these fancy pastrami sandwiches, and his boss was mad at him who's 7.5 minutes late.
That's right.
Or some
You're 7.5 minutes late.
He's like, "Hey, take my 10." Like you just got there.
Yeah.
Just got there. And no cell phone.
This is the stuff about movies that I always like obsess over, and it drives me crazy because I'm always thinking like, there's no real job that exists here, but I'm always like, oh man, he's gonna get fired. He just took his 10-minute. Like, why am I worried about this? We're never going back to this job again in this movie.
No.
Yeah.
But I worry about those things.
You do?
Yeah.
I do.
So that's
How
an
much money does he
example
have?
of casting opportunity because the boss did a fine job, and I'm sure he did as he was directed.
Sure.
But that character even could have injected humor if they wanted. And it just kind of
There's no
moved on.
humor.
But he was the caricature they asked for.
Well, and that's the problem is they're all caricatures,
Yeah.
all of them.
Yes.
And Roland Emmerich's even ripping off himself, Bob, because remember Jeff Goldblum's character in
I
Independence Day?
told my wife this is Jeff Goldblum's character.
Right. He's like, I have to get in touch with NASA. I'm the humble genius with the secret knowledge. That's literally
Yes.
who Jeff Goldblum was.
Except
Yeah,
at least
absolutely.
in that one, he was more properly connected and it made sense.
Yes. He's not calling the NASA gift shop.
Right.
But I got to tell you,
Yeah,
what-
the national gift
I'm going
shop.
forward just a tiny bit, but when Halle Berry got that call in the nighttime, you better believe that her caller ID said NASA.
NASA. It did.
It did.
To let the audience know that NASA was calling.
Yeah, that's what
She
they call
has NASA's phone
it. Yeah,
number.
Just NASA.
Just not an individual.
No.
Just the organization is calling you. I love that. I love that. And then he goes home because he's obviously not able to get through NASA. And then one of my favorite / least favorite tropes is he gets super convenient, relevant data from a newspaper. Oh, wait, it's astronaut day.
But the cat had peed on it.
It's just so stupid.
And it could have been 2 days ago or 14 days
Yeah,
away, but
yeah.
just
It
so
was.
happened.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It just happened to be the. First of all, what is astronaut day? Is not a thing.
Well, I mean, was it what are those space visual things called?
I guess.
Sure, I mean, that I don't have a problem with.
Yeah, I love.
But just like the things that had to happen for this all to work. It's
Exactly. It's
Like
stupid.
a
Kinda line
cat
up.
peeing on the paper that
Yeah.
they clean up.
I love Patrick Wilson's wake up cliche.
What was
I felt
that?
Like I felt like I was watching a 1990s action movie.
Whoa, oh,
The hero wakes up. He's like, landlord's banging. And
Yeah.
oh, the notice to vacate.
10 days late.
A
Jumps
pile.
out the window.
jumps out the
Gets
window.
on his motorcycle.
like perfect leather jacket.
Perfect leather jacket.
Can we
perfect
talk?
V-neck.
Can we talk about this? The terrible CGI on him driving
awful.
away on the
Yes,
motorcycle.
that was horrible.
There was a lot of bad up close visual CGI effects when he arrives. He gets off the bike.
Right.
You can tell his whole
but
surroundings.
but yes, but especially the one where he pulls away from the
Yes,
house. I'm
I
like,
noticed that. It's
I'm
bad.
like, how we couldn't find a real driveway for him to drive out of. Like, why are we CGIing
Well,
such
how-
a mundane thing?
Yes. And how many movies that don't have a $140 million budget go to that actual spot and film that happening?
That's what I'm
Because
saying.
That's like a common
just
sight
how-
in LA.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's always funny. How
It's super weird, and there's and I don't want to just totally rip the CGI in the movie because there's parts of the movie that look fantastic.
Yes.
yeah, there's a lot
Where
of
it's like
CGI.
they spent all of their money on the moon stuff, and then they're like, "We need a CGI shot of him pulling out of his driveway." Like, we have $10 left.
Sweet. Call the
It's
editor.
just a guy's finger and this super tiny bike.
Claymation.
And someone goes, meet.
But that's what it seemed like. Like they spent so little
Yeah.
on some of it and so much on other parts of it.
They go to his kids' AV club at school and like,
Right,
Hey,
it's-
can you guys do this scene for me? Because we're out of money.
It's the fakest looking thing.
Did anybody feel like Halle Berry's face was CGI'd?
I like
You
that.
like
Look,
de-aged? Do you think she was
I
de-aged?
think
Very
she was
smooth.
de-aged.
It was
She-
kinda smooth.
She looked like she always looks great, but
No, we're not trying to rip on Halle Berry,
No.
please.
but her
That's a good
face just
question.
looked like it was computer generated a little bit at some point.
It might have been not computer generated, but computer smoothed,
Snapchatted.
Snapchatted, yeah, filtered.
Maybe she had
Yeah.
extra foundation.
And we can talk about the wardrobe,
This
et
was
cetera,
beyond
later too. But I
Yes,
think
let's talk about it now.
she needed to be like at all messed up at some point. She was too perfect for the whole film.
The whole movie.
The whole
movie.
thing. Actually,
Everything
everybody
was
was.
Like literally, fire is raining down on the earth, and she still looks
Yeah.
fantastic.
And Patrick too.
And both of them.
Yeah.
Her bun and her ponytail is still fine.
Perfect.
Not a singed hair,
Yeah.
hair left out.
All right. So after this terrible CGI of him driving away, Casey goes to this astronaut day, but he gets there before Brian, and they think he's the guy there to teach. And so he starts talking all this psycho stuff to the kids, like, the moon is hollow, kids. We're going to blow your mind. There's a alien structure inside the moon.
White dwarf.
A white dwarf.
Which is impossible to fit inside.
Can we talk about that now? Yeah.
Yeah, I only know that because I look at IMDb and I trust everything I read on there. So it's got to be right.
Well, it is right in this case because a white dwarf is like hundreds of times bigger than the Earth.
That's what I heard.
And the moon is much smaller than the Earth. And there's no way that a white dwarf would ever fit inside of a moon.
You know, you've heard about how like animals atrophy in zoos. Maybe the white dwarf atrophied being stuck inside the moon.
If that is at all how stars worked.
Sure. Also, I like how the lady at the library didn't notice that the guy didn't look like the picture of that.
You're right. Oh, this is him.
Because there was a picture of him.
This checks out.
Yeah, right.
This is him.
Maybe Chris Hemsworth shrunk it.
Yeah, could be. Now, while this is all going on, Brian, before he gets there, Brian's now ex-wife, because we talked about she'd left him because she's horrible.
Can we talk about we're not going to get there yet. I apologize.
Okay.
But
the ex-wife calls about the son joyriding, which is conveniently on the news.
That's
right?
twice you got that trope you love.
I know. And it looks like his son, and this is why I miss, like, so he's got I thought he had a young son and an old son.
Yeah, right.
Right? I'm like, this is his
I thought
other
that
son?
too, actually, yeah.
It's the same one.
Same hairstyle.
Moved ahead.
Over 10 years.
right.
That's how you know.
That's how
It's
you
the
know.
same kid.
So his kid's getting arrested on television for joyriding out with the cops, okay? And what follows this, and as someone who watches a whole lot of Court Cam, I don't know if you guys ever watched that show. It's fantastic. Go on YouTube if you don't want to watch it on TV. The most ridiculous courtroom scene in any movie maybe I've ever watched since the history of ever.
Really stupid.
No one ever talks or acts like that in the courtroom.
No.
Not the lawyers, not the judge, not the people in the audience.
Money is
Judge,
no object.
money's no object. Let me just sweep this under the rug. Come on.
Like the lawyer says that.
Yeah.
Come on.
No,
Come on.
Never.
Never.
It's like, oh, judge, you said, he just wasn't, he's fine. Let him out.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it was so cringy. It was like written by somebody who had heard about what a court is, but had never seen one
And
before.
translated it through 2 languages.
Yeah, and that was like his initial court appearance, which I unfortunately have had to go to one of those recently, not for myself, but they're like super boring and over like that. Like,
Right.
we're going to do this, and it's like a 10-month process.
Right. And so they end up saying, well, he's a flight risk, so we're not going to let him out.
Because you got all this money, it's a flight risk, which I'm pretty sure you don't do for,
No,
a
for
driving
what?
offense.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's all so stupid. But the whole point is it's all a machination to just keep him in jail.
Yeah.
And it's just, when you can see the gears and the wheels of the script turning, it's just bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
And when the dad was watching it on TV, did you notice the kind of TV in his kitchen? It was
Oh,
just
yeah.
Like, like it's from like the 50s. It's not quite, but okay. But he's got like this amazing like
HD.
motorcycle and whatever.
Yes.
But
Well, he did like old stuff. Those are all old.
I
true.
suppose maybe it's like vintage in a fun way.
Well, that's a movie trope right there. If you hit the button for the car, man working on the car.
That's right.
Yeah. Mach
The
1,
motorcycle.
It's just ratcheting in a place that doesn't even have a
Right,
ratchet.
exactly.
Just a
The flux
muffler.
capacitor should be here. Oh, also I noticed way back when Casey was going to, I guess, sneak in with the mop or whatever and go get the information.
Yeah.
I think I wrote down, he said, what would Elon do?
Yeah, what would he? Yeah, that didn't age well.
No, it did not.
What would he do?
That's all I was going to say.
Let's
Taking
talk
the piss out
about.
of
I mean, did he go into colleges and steal information? Is that
No.
what Elon would do? All
No,
right. Then I don't.
think so. Then I don't get it either.
Why would you cast a nice Michael Pena to play such a douche?
I don't know, man. But here's the thing: is he even a
He
douche?
didn't seem that bad.
There's-
to me.
There's a scene they were bad, but it wasn't that bad.
You can't care, good or bad, about a single character in this movie because there isn't a single character in this movie. They're all cookie cutters.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of every single one of them.
I felt lied to because Michael Pena, when you see he's in it, I'm like, oh, I'm going to laugh a little bit.
Right.
And I was like,
Yes, no,
dang.
you're
I'm
right.
like, maybe he'll use this as a vehicle for drama.
What he did
He tried
Yeah.
to.
was sell Lexuses.
He did.
Oh,
well,
my God.
they
That's one of the 2 major brands that was sold
Yes.
or tried.
and everything from a dialogue standpoint. This was the worst sin out of. I mean, the acting and all that stuff fine, but the dialogue throughout the whole movie, everybody only spoke in sentences that was exactly what their character needed to convey for the scene to move on.
Like if you made a AI watch a bunch of movies like that and you spit it out.
Yeah.
And it
Yes.
says,
That's right.
They only said the thing that they like.
right.
No subtext. There was barely even text. Forget subtext.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just everyone's just speaking exactly what they need to communicate.
Yep.
Yes.
No mystery. No, like, what are they saying? What are they not saying? But they really think. I mean, they just said
And
what they
it's
think.
odd that everyone had family problems.
Oh, every single one of them.
Everyone,
Yeah,
like,
but
so one of the characters you think should have good family, so you feel for that situation. But no, they're all like divided and messed
And it's
up.
all the cliche stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's full of cliches. I still laughed when the Michael Pena and the ex-wife were gonna leave the son to go to a higher mountain. I'm like, awesome, good parenting.
Right? Let them rot in jail. We're going to Aspen.
Going to Aspen.
That really worked out for them too.
And I like how the lady. Oh, sorry, that's Ed.
No, it's okay.
The lady with the gun and the Karen name.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there was
talk
a lot
about
of, lot of making fun of that side of the place. That was
All
pretty-
right. So NASA figures out what Casey already knew when he looked at the data. Casey was able to tell that the moon was out of its orbit. Okay. We're finally going to get to the plot here. Then NASA kind of at the same time is finding out Halle Berry's called into the office because they're also figuring out that the moon is in a descending orbit.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I tell you my favorite part of this? that
Yes.
made me like this movie's
Please.
ridiculous. Is the leader of NASA, the head of NASA. She says the moon is falling out of an elliptical orbit, and he says, "What is an elliptical orbit? What does that mean?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's the head of NASA. He would know what this means.
What? Explain how.
Yeah,
So I
explain. I'm like, what is that all about?
I
That's
wrote-
just stupid.
Jerk boss of Halle isn't satisfied with the quick plan, but he should know it's a long shot also. He's like, what? This is all you have? A possibility? What you got? I'm like, you know this is insanity right now.
I'm supposed to have an exact plan for the moon falling into the earth? You're right. Explain how.
I was like, how does this guy not know what that means? He has to be smart to be the head of NASA.
No, but they're like, it's like, oh, we got 3 months. No, but because as the moon gets closer to Earth, the months will get shorter. We only have 3 weeks. We must go to the moon to fix it. So, bring a moon wrench. We have to fix. What are they going to do? They'll fly up and fix the moon? They're going to fly up there and go, oh, what's going on up here? Moon?
Yes.
How are they going to get it back? What's a space shuttle going up there? How's it going to get the
Then
moon
you have
back?
to hire someone to make a little YouTube kind of video. Like, then when the projectile is exactly right, what we're going to do is, and you see this little cartoon man walk over.
That's what's like, okay, great. You got to go up to the moon and do what?
And and here's the other thing: time is of the essence.
Right.
This boss knows all the history. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm going to save my family by giving you the job. Go find this information.
Yeah,
out.
so-
like, it would have been helpful for him just to say, oh, by the way, we've known for a while this actually
Right.
isn't like what we think it is, and you
Right.
should maybe know this.
Because what happens is they send the space shuttle with these 3 poor astronauts
Yes, they get
up to the moon, and they just get destroyed by this blob, this black blob, this sentient AI. It kills them in a horrible way, and then
face.
in the face, it kills them right in the
They got
face.
face killed.
They got face killed. Then the NASA boss is like, yeah, I'm out. Like, he said, I got a blast. Here's the job.
Yeah.
Like,
But if I go to a
Yeah.
different city, I'll be fine.
Yeah, right. Like,
If I go to Colorado,
well, he didn't know an elliptical orbit.
everybody
Yeah,
rich
why
and powerful was going to Colorado. Colorado.
Colorado will be fine if the moon
Yeah,
crashed.
That would be
Yeah.
good. It was
That's
not.
where everybody would go.
Everybody was going.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Only if
Anyway,
you could afford it, you can go to Colorado.
that's right.
I work for the American people, and you're keeping them in the dark.
Meanwhile,
That was
back
the line.
at the Hall of Justice, Brian is trying to bribe a judge with a Mustang in the hallway.
Yes.
That was just another bit of idiocy.
I think it was,
guess
I thought he said there's a part in the trunk of the Mustang that I can sell and then give you the money for.
Was that what it was?
I do think
I thought he was saying he had a Mustang that he was just.
I think it was even less good.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm trying
Of
to.
an idea.
You're trying to bribe a judge, and I got to get home. Traffic's
Yeah.
bad. Like, come on, man.
It was also. He's like you think you're going to show up, give a judge your Mustang, or even less. And he's gonna be like, all right, let your kid out of jail.
He's not a marine biologist. They have that kind of pool, but not NASA.
Not NASA, no.
Yes.
And then this is the other funny thing: mounting moon terror on the news grips the world. The entire world devolves in like 4
bam.
seconds
Yes.
over a tweet, which I guess is accurate. Okay, but besides that,
So later, I know we're
very
going ahead.
accurate.
We can go
Yes.
back. Whenever Casey's like, come to my meeting, free bagels. Who's making
Yeah.
bagels?
Oh my
Yeah.
Yes, comes to my mind. Free bagels. That's why I labeled him the fat Brit bagel guy.
There's nobody working.
no one's working. He's going to manifest these bagels himself.
And then I thought to myself, can't let a good crisis go to waste. Let's riot.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, but it's still there's just how fast it all happened.
Yeah.
Like John Bradley's character Casey sends out this tweet because the whole thing is his mom, who has Alzheimer's, tells him if they won't listen to you, make them listen.
Yeah. Right.
And so he sends a tweet out with the secret knowledge that he couldn't get through the toy shop to get to NASA.
Toy shop.
And the world immediately like just goes into utter chaos because this one rando who probably has 37 followers on Twitter posted about the moon falling into the earth.
Absolutely.
So no one listened to him until then.
Until then.
Yeah, which is good.
That's right.
No. Anyway, so Brian goes to track down Casey because Casey, when he showed up to impersonate him, told him the moon was falling. He didn't believe him, but now he realizes the guy was telling the truth.
Yes.
So Brian, our hero of the story, goes to track down Casey
And drives past an enormous Kaspersky billboard. If you watch it again, it's enormous. And then later in the movie, when they're beep boop booping on some kind of program, Kaspersky powered. I was like, really?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I missed that.
Is that an actual brand?
Yeah, it's like you protect your computer from malware.
They paid 100 of the $140 million to
And
be
so
in
did
this.
Lexus.
And so did they paid the other 40.
Yeah.
And Hyundai.
Anyway, so while those astronauts are going up to the moon to get killed, Brian goes to track down Casey at this conspiracy gathering where there's going to be bagels. Free bagels. Meanwhile, while those NASA astronauts are getting killed, the ocean is trying to fight Brian and Casey at their motel.
Their motel, yeah.
Or he could have just stood up.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I thought that too. Like, why doesn't he just stand up? They can stand. And Casey can't swim, and he's watching the water come.
He just stands there and takes a tidal wave to the face.
So maybe he froze. That part doesn't give me as much trouble as the fact that they could have like made the scene so much, and they're like, "Oh no, it's about up to my chin."
Go get him, and he jumps in.
It's the ocean.
Yes.
Let's find a hotel of ocean.
I expected there to be a shark in the water.
There should have been something to up the stakes at all.
Octopus,
but it was
squid.
good that the janitor happened to find the orbital distance paper.
Yes.
Is this the one?
Oh, he was
Is
the guard.
this the important piece of relevant information you needed?
Yeah, there's not Cappy on
Those
it.
were
But it's
the
coffee.
chunkiest guards I've ever seen at the observatory.
I just think, and then after he gets hit with the toe, he's like, "I can't swim."
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, why were you standing
Why
there
were you
waiting for the
standing
ocean
there?
to kill you?
Go upstairs, people.
Yeah.
I can't swim.
So after Halle Berry is given the NASA director job by this guy that dips out, she goes randomly to go see Donald Sutherland. And yes, Donald Sutherland is in this movie.
And I wrote Donald Sutherland just tells her.
Just that's it. Because again, the dialogue is just perfunctory.
No.
This is the information you needed. Goodbye.
Yeah. My first thought was, is that Donald Sutherland? I think Donald Sutherland's dead. It can't be him. It is Donald Sutherland. I'm so happy he's alive.
So it turns out his kid, was it Rohan Sutherland, was one of the producers on the movie.
Oh.
And so Roland Emmerich asked him to see if his dad would
in there.
come and shoot a scene. So he literally was doing a favor for his kid.
I'm glad his dad was in the movie.
Yeah.
He was loading up a gun, did an expo dump, and went about his business.
That's literally, he had no reason to be cast because he didn't, I love him. He's a legendary actor.
Oh,
Yeah.
He added nothing to this part.
He did. He was him.
And it's
So
not
if
his,
it wasn't him, it could have been worse.
we could have been worse, but he added nothing. It was literally just like,
Well,
I'm so glad you came. Here is all the secret
Here's
information.
the
Go
one
and watch
thing.
this. You're welcome. Goodbye.
Yeah.
The one thing he did is he led gravitas to the reality that that Patrick Wilson's, is that his name?
Yeah.
Whatever his character is. Brian was fired because they were covering up what they knew.
Right. He was literally just there to be the giver of the information.
But see, I wouldn't believe that from anyone other than him.
Good thing
I
the file
get
was
you. I get what
listed
you're
so well. The
Yeah.
file name was so clear.
Yeah.
So easy to find.
You wouldn't be in this
Brian's
It
situation.
was
telling us-
really, really convenient.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be in this situation if you would just watch you literally watched the footage and saw
Right.
this thing barreling at them, and then you're like, nah, it's seaweed.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I pictured the NASA director there with some other of his cronies watching this video going, what do you think? Should we just cover this up? Yeah, cover it up.
Yeah,
Just
cover it
cover it
up.
up.
Cover it up. Cover it up.
That won't be a problem. We don't need to worry about that right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we don't
we'll
need to
just
worry
cover.
about that.
Let Donald Sutherland keep his secret for us.
At this point, I wrote, they keep saying megastructure as if it means something.
Well, yeah, but this is what Casey keeps trying to tell
Dr.
everybody is
Houseman.
over and over again. The moon is a megastructure. It's a megastructure. He calls himself a megastructurist at
Yes.
one point.
Kind viewers, if you would like to count the number of times they say megastructure in this film,
Make it a drinking game.
we would love
Right.
that.
He's saying that
information.
basically saying that the moon was built. It's a space station.
Don't make it a drinking game. You'll die of alcohol poisoning.
No.
Make it a drinking game. You'll be fine.
No, you will die.
Drink plenty of water.
But why I guess my question is, why cover it up? Why keep the goop a secret? What would that knowledge do?
I think,
Right.
okay, legitimately, if I found out like it was proven the moon is like a alien space structure, I could be a little freaked out by that.
I guess, but
I would love it.
what's the danger to NASA? If anything, maybe their funding will go through the roof.
Well, that's
if
true.
somebody found out, we got to go to the moon and find out what's
Well,
going
they
on.
always got to cover up the aliens.
I guess. Anyway, it's fine.
But at least I'll give him credit for this script writing. At least they had a reason for the ridiculous fact that he got fired, because he would never have gotten fired for that.
You wouldn't have a movie if you didn't get fired.
Well, now we get to talk about your favorite person. So Halle Berry she's NASA boss. She gets on the horn with the military, and literally about 4 seconds, like, oh, no, this is a military problem now. And stay out of
What are
this.
you gonna do with it? We're gonna launch nukes at it. That makes perfect sense.
We shoot it. We shoot it with
Always
stuff.
our solution.
Shoot it.
Nukes.
Because we're the military.
We're
We
gonna-
shoot things.
That's
There
right.
wasn't much time, and they didn't have any other plans.
They
There's
didn't.
Still
It was just how they
some
wrote the
plan.
military was very basic and like,
Yeah.
well, how do these guys behave? We just shoot things.
Those
That's right.
hotheads.
Yeah. What's going to happen if you blow it up into a lot of pieces?
I don't know. Probably the same exact thing.
Yeah, all
Probably
those
exactly
pieces
what
are going to
happened. You'll-
fall
all
into
the-
its orbit.
Yeah.
Unless you're in Aspen
Not
with
if we
the
make a space
1%, you'll be
umbrella.
fine.
Yeah, the 1%.
Space
That's all
umbrella.
we need.
And what happens?
That's why
if,
Aspen's got one. That's why.
What happens if you don't have a moon?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think bad things.
Then I don't think you have to worry about a moon falling.
Well, that's true.
That's true.
But I think we all
What
might.
about
die or
Skyfall?
something.
Maybe we should just blow the moon out of the sky right now.
We should.
Like a preemptive strike.
Kind listeners, you can tell us what happens.
We're
if there's no moon.
joking. We're joking.
All right, but here's what here we meet Doug, one of these military
Take
guys.
that man on the moon.
Doug, the ex-husband of Halle Berry, who is
The trash can full of dirt.
terrible.
Oh, he's awful.
He's
He's a trash can.
I know
full
you
of
don't like
dirt,
to say this about people,
Yeah, you are correct.
but
If they're asking for caricatures, he was one.
What was his caricature? Bad actor acting a movie? That
He
was
was
his
terrible.
caricature?
I mean,
and Halle Berry's like, don't shoot nukes at it. And this guy's like, huh? Nukes? What?
Who told you about nukes?
What's this girl talking about?
Guy
nukes?
in the background.
Click,
Sir,
shuts it
how
off.
many nukes you want? Not now. We can get 20 of them by tomorrow night.
there's a sale.
Not now, private.
They're carrying a nuke box like
He's-
in the background of the video.
He's
Yeah.
the
What?
least, the
What's
least
this? I don't know what you're
charismatic
talking about.
four-star general I've
When
ever seen.
she had her big revelation with her son with a toy, that was
Yeah.
the second like major revelation. Again, kind of like trope,
Yes.
if you will. There was
Yes.
the cat pee on the
What was?
Mm-hmm.
what do you call it? The astronaut day.
Astronaut take.
And then again, like, you got a toy. There was just so much. That
Yes.
thing made me think of it.
That thing.
What was
Yeah.
that about?
What, the toy?
She looked at a toy and she has the answer to it.
What
now?
was it? I
Because
forgot
there
this
was
part. It was
the-
so great.
Yeah.
the space
That's what we're
shuttle was
getting
in-
to, yeah.
Okay.
They
Let me
didn't
see.
No, but you're right. You're right. So, but
Oh, yeah.
long story short, Halle Berry's character wants to use an EMP on the moon instead of nukes, but they only had, this has always made me laugh, they only had one rocket. Like, oh, we used our rocket. We don't have any more rockets.
Except the red herring of, but China's got something.
Yeah.
We will
Yes.
never even use that. And good thing she has a nanny or a foreign exchange student teaching her son Chinese that
Yes.
I totally thought was going to be used later to talk to China and get their last shuttle. And
No.
they're like,
No.
no.
We're not going to do that.
We just
See?
need it. He just needs to babysit for a while.
See?
That's it.
Funded
And,
by China.
But why does NASA only have one rocket?
Well, why not go to Elon?
Or he's got a SpaceX
he's got
poster.
awesome rockets.
What about
Or
the,
that other guy that takes the rich people.
We're
into
NASA.
space.
We'd love to go back to the moon, but we used our rocket.
Yeah. Actually, to be fair, I think NASA is a little short on rockets.
It's just called the
The movie would be
Avengers.
good if you had Rocket, the character from Marvel, by the way.
I was just gonna say you should just call the Avengers.
Yeah, so she there you go. She sees this rocket that her son, it's an old spaceship, and so or the space shuttle.
Space shuttle.
And so she's like, "There's a space shuttle in the museum. We'll use the museum
It's
rocket."
The stupidest.
I love the spray paint on it.
Stupidest.
Because you know that it's ready
very
for
convenient.
working order. I'm
Yeah.
sure it took nothing
They
to
just-
fix.
Why?
Put it
They
there.
rolled it up and just hooked it up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you got a
Yeah.
space shuttle? Hook it
Yeah.
up.
Did you know a Toyota Tundra pulled that? And I think that's true. And did you know that Toyota
Oh.
also owns Lexus?
I did not know that.
Aha.
Ah.
It's all coming
Plastic.
together.
And they took it into that museum in L.A.
All right.
I got to go back to wardrobe for just a quick second. here.
Please.
The names were embroidered on the perfectly proportioned outfits.
That were
Who
tailored for them.
Had time. I mean, there was one guy, right? That was his job, like
Yeah.
busily embroidering.
He's
the
like
outfit.
trying to get on the
Yeah, you can't
train
go
to
to space
Aspen, and he
without
can't because he's got to
embroidered stuff.
finish this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotta put
Really
the
And
name
that
tags on.
the thugs got there and just spray painted the space shuttle. They didn't do any damage to it.
They didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't wreck it. It's still perfectly ready to launch.
F the
Perfect.
moon.
That's right.
F the moon.
Like there's all this
moon.
like throughout the whole movie. There's so much going on, so much like and no one sweats.
Nobody.
Or like gets hair tousled. Just
Hey,
like-
buddy,
Won't have a single hair out of place.
Right?
the guy runs out of cash. Hey, buddy, I got some cash. Put it away, fool. Ain't
Ain't
this
worth
paper,
nothing
toilet paper.
yeah.
anymore.
Toilet paper. Let's go stairs. Oh,
ridiculous.
look at that. Oh, good. What the
And
hell
then all of a
is that?
sudden, there's boats everywhere too. Did you notice that? Everywhere
Yeah.
there's boats.
Boats coming out of the
And all of a
water.
sudden, the boat starts moving and they're
Everyone
pulling the
knows
shuttle
there's
down the
tides.
street.
All right, so the cops show up at the motel where they fought the ocean, and they pick up Brian and Casey because, of course, they knew exactly where they were,
Guys-
even though they couldn't call anybody.
It's hilarious how soundly they're sleeping.
Why would phones work? Why would cellular phones be working?
Yes,
At all.
The major problem with the movie is the cell phones work the whole, and sat phones, which all the satellites have been
Exactly.
destroyed in space.
The cell towers. There's no way
Cell
they would.
towers
Cell towers are the
Wind
first thing to
blows.
go.
Yeah.
They're the
There's
first
no
thing.
power. There's no cell towers.
Maybe they have,
First thing.
Maybe they have 5G.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
right.
what it is.
That's 5G.
It's
or
the
6G.
secret conspiracy
What if-
that NASA put together to keep this communications going when the moon falls and the aliens come out.
What if 5G actually is shot to Earth from the moon? What if their cell towers don't even...
Thanks, ancestors.
Maybe. Yes, ancestors.
You're welcome.
I actually thought that part was really cool, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah. So, anyway, okay. So, they pick up Brian and Casey and they bring them back to NASA, even though he doesn't want anything to do with NASA because NASA fired him. And Halle Berry's like, you're the only guy that's ever landed a dead space shuttle.
So stupid.
And so we need you to fly a dead space shuttle to the moon because this thing only attacks humans inside of working electronics.
I could be wrong.
I was just going to say because it was a perfect jawline.
That's what it was.
I could be wrong, but I do not believe Vandenberg Air Force Base has a full shuttle
Launch?
launch system
Why would it?
there.
Why
But they
would
had 24 hours to build
And
one.
I
They- yeah,
literally
thank you.
thought,
Yeah,
I literally
yeah,
thought
Charles.
it was in Colorado.
it? Charles,
Right.
Charles, it's a
Yeah.
movie.
they had
And-
24 hours to build it, dude.
And I'm pretty positive they launched the space shuttle in Florida because it's closer to the equator because that makes it easier for them to get into outer space.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
You're thinking about this way too much.
But I did look at on Google Maps where Vandenberg Air Force Base is. It is on the coast.
Okay.
So the water could have gotten there.
could have
Like
gotten
in
there.
real life, if the mathematics are off by a decimal point,
Yeah.
etc., things like just don't work.
Oh,
Right.
like a space shuttle going underwater while it's launching?
All right, well, look, hold on. So Brian's like, I'm the grizzled veteran with the right stuff, but I don't know. I've got problems with other stuff in my life. If I can do this. And Halle Berry's like, other problems besides the moon crashing into the earth?
Yeah, get my son out of jail, woman.
Yeah, that's exactly what he wants.
And you know why he wants it though? Because it's like
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean with those pirates who are trying to whistle to the dog to get the keys because they're
yeah,
stuck.
that's
And
right.
so if the water comes, then you're stuck.
Then you're hosed.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And this was at the point where my son Grant, who's just turned 13, comes into
birthday, Grant.
Yeah, that's right. Comes into the living room to see that my kids don't ever watch these with me. Sometimes they do, but barely.
Why?
What they'll do is they'll come into the room just to see what I'm watching. They want to get a taste of it. It's like, all right, Dad, what's this stupid movie about? And he just now assumes that I'm watching stupid films. And
That's
he
the
like, well, you see
stupid
the
old
moon is crashing into the earth, and he right then there's a shot out there at the stupid Air Force base, and all these military people are running around. He's like, so are they going to fight the moon? I'm like,
boy, Grant.
yeah, I think they kind of are going to
Yeah,
fight
I
the
So
moon.
I watched this with my husband Jim, and I have to shout out to him because he said,
Yes.
and I wrote this down. This movie is for people who thought Armageddon was too realistic.
That's so funny. I said that to my wife as
There's
well.
all these jobs to
Armageddon.
do, like teach the drillers the astronaut stuff. Not here. Just get on.
They don't have to because there's already a conveniently drilled hole in the
Yeah.
moon when they get up there, so they didn't have to bring Bruce Willis.
No.
Yeah, but
Right.
I guess all the other things that had to happen, that was easy.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis.
We only got this one engine and we can't fix it. All right, everybody go home.
That's- okay, yeah,
all
so
the
that's
people
where
that
we're
can
coming
fix
from.
it are
Bye,
here.
thanks.
See you. Thanks for
Bye.
coming, everybody. That
Yeah,
was ad-libbed,
so-
by the way.
Your country thanks you, not the whole world.
Yeah.
It's just America.
yeah.
The good thing is Brian hasn't forgotten how to astronaut. He still remembers how to astronaut.
Phew.
And there's, he's like, all right, I'll do it. And the son shows up just in time to receive the cliche dialogue that his dad was like,
Yes.
I want you to be a better man than me. Like literally the paint by numbers stuff.
Sentimental
Because your
sloppy
mom
dog.
and stepdad left you there. Just
Right.
In a
remember that.
minute, he needed to be a sentimental dad who's in the movie.
Yeah.
This whole thing got him out of jail. They get him out of jail, get him to the Air Force base as fast as possible, just so that he's ready to be inserted into maybe the greatest B plot in a movie
Oh,
of
my wife
all
was like, "Why is this B
time.
plot in here?"
This B plot,
Yes.
I can't wait. We'll get into that. It's the best thing about this movie.
Is it though?
He becomes Steve the babysitter.
I love it. I love the B plot.
Yes. And all right, so you're right. So they run out onto the CGI launch pad and they stand under the CGI space rockets. And this guy's like, one of your CGI engines is leaking coolant. So I guess we
We
can't
gotta fix it.
launch.
Everyone who can fix it is here, and we can't fix it.
We can't launch. It'll take a month to fix
And like,
this.
well, then we'll just go.
Send everybody home
Oh,
to
no,
be
send
with their
everybody home.
families.
Yeah, go home.
And she gives this like, I don't know, like the dollar store version of the Independence Day speech.
Apparently, according to IMDb,
Right?
that was ad-libbed because she
Was it?
forgot her lines.
That's why it was so terrible.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, Halle Berry's a lot of great things. A
heartfelt.
gifted improviser? I don't know.
And after
all have our
this,
strengths.
I
That's
thought
right.
to myself, maybe
She has
they
hers,
shouldn't
definitely.
be quite so decisive.
Yeah.
Maybe you need some people around
To go-
help you launch things.
No.
like space shuttles.
Don't just go home. Not everybody go
Yeah.
home.
Yeah, we might actually need to use this.
Wait till we
after
take
all.
off or something.
This is when
Yeah.
you need Michael Ironside. It says,
So,
everyone fights, no one quits.
This is one of the funniest things in the movie because it's like they get there. Brian comes in. He's like, wait. It's another one of those. I have found the secret knowledge things. He goes, guys. What if we launch when the moon gets here and it'll suck us up
Suck us
into
up.
it?
Yeah, the
That was Halle
gravity thing
Berry's
going
idea.
on.
And was it Halle Berry's
Yeah, it
idea?
was Halle
Fine.
Berry's
I don't want to
idea.
not give her credit for it. But he's like, now we can launch with 2 engines and the moon will be our third engine.
That's right.
And I almost hit the ground laughing because it was the stupidest thing.
Yeah, because I'm
But-
sure gravity's real consistent and helpful in those moments.
But
when
at
it's
this
all
point,
being
but at
shifted
this point in
around.
the movie, I accepted it.
You're like, okay, fine.
I was like, F it. Let's
You also
just do it.
this gravity wave. This is the first time we see the gravity wave
Yeah.
That was pretty
It's
good.
huge.
that comes up, and it's just sucking these like tornado spouts of ocean and everything like up towards because the moon is getting so
Pretty
close.
sure there's Sharknado in that.
You know what? I'm pretty sure the moon's gravity is weaker than Earth's. So why is it pulling stuff away from Earth?
Closer. The dolphins all left, man.
The dolphins flew to the moon, literally. If once they get up there, I wish they had seen like dolphins and like Ford F-150s and stuff on the moon because this thing was just getting
They're all
sucked
getting
up
sucked
there.
up,
I'm
right?
like, they get there and there's still nothing there.
Ford F-150s were not allowed to survive this movie.
It's like when there was like a big wave of water or something coming, everyone was standing there seeing it in the distance. And I feel like there would already be something happening to you.
Right, like the kids that stopped to watch the shuttle launch.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the ocean got right here in their
Yeah, they're
face.
like-
Wait by the car.
Because it was an empowering moment.
They're like, we got to go,
my
guys.
daddy's up
Are they
there.
gonna make it? Are they gonna make it?
And they gotta-
I think we're underwater, guys.
Come on.
Oh yeah,
I
that's how
did
that
like how
works.
Brian said when they were deciding on the third person,
Yes.
we're going to need a moon structurist. And he was like, I've got IBS. And it was like,
Yes, that was the
just
guy's
poop
line.
in space. Let's go.
Right, because Casey is now going to go with Halle Berry and Patrick Wilson
My
up
wife
to
thought
space.
The IBS thing's the funniest thing. She's like, what's that have to do with anything?
So there's this gravity wave, basically like just this wall of water from the ocean coming towards the launch bay. And cue the slowest space shuttle launch of all time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they go fast.
But I did
Yeah,
like that he
sure they
went
do.
10, 9, 8, and he went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I was like, you know what? That's actually what I would do too.
All right, we're skipping. Let's
There's
do
no
it.
one to line
Yeah.
up with outside.
And before that, she's like, we gotta launch the shuttle in 28 minutes.
Right.
You probably shouldn't have let everybody go.
Well, she even
28 minutes is
says-
fast.
We don't have any flight crew. But then as they're trying to rush on, there's all these flight crew. And they're like, sir, you have to get on like right now. And I'm like, you just sent everybody home. Who are these guys?
They're the ones who care to stay.
They stayed, but we missed the speech of "We're with you, Captain."
I think,
right.
is that another movie trope, if you will, when they're like, how much time? Exactly 2 hours starting now is when the moon will affect us. Like, you don't know.
Well, he has a sliding ruler. That's how he's able
well,
to
he has
tell
to tell the
every-
scientists
Yeah.
things that they need to know.
Right.
Yeah.
He's the humble genius with the secret knowledge. That's his character.
And the scientists got killed in the wave.
That's right. They
Quick
did.
note, I don't think anyone's eaten throughout the whole movie. Keep going. That's always my
All
thing.
right. So
every
the
time.
kids outrun the ocean in their Jeep after they won.
And Jim, my husband, said, yeah, this is what we all want to see right now is them riding their Jeep. Like, that matters right now. Just keep moving.
Now, the second funniest thing in this whole sequence happens. As they're launching up to the moon, they lose a second engine. The problem was they had 2 and not 3. Now they're down to 1. And Patrick Wilson's character's like, all right, I got this. what if we got rid of a third engine?
Yes. What if we got rid of it all?
Then that will save us.
And we just made sounds like an engine.
Yeah.
She literally says, we lost second engine. We're off course. Now we're going to crash back to Earth if we don't find something else. And his job
Get rid of the booster rockets.
is to cut more engines.
Well, the moon is pulling them up. It'll help them.
I think he was trying
They're
to
fighting.
Couldn't
the
it
moon's
continue to pull them
gravity.
up with the other
I
rocket?
think he was trying to
fighting
cut
the
the
moon's
weight.
The ship did say Kaspersky protection activated, so maybe that's why it's working out.
That must be why. All right. Anyway, so they get up to the moon.
But there was a question that Halle asked KC. She goes, where will the moon be 93 minutes from now? And he gets a sliding ruler on his lap. And he's like, I got you.
Like
Baby
exactly here. Baby girl.
That was an homage to the old days
Yeah.
when they
Yeah.
had
It
the
was
slide rules.
Yeah.
All right. Well, they get to the moon and Space Blob doesn't take the bait. They've got this. They flew up there in this dead shuttle with all the electronics turned off.
But that's no moon.
And there's, it is a space station.
It's a space station.
Right?
And they detached. They have this inside this old, crusty space shuttle. They've got this brand new Chinese, like I don't know what they called it, lander.
Yeah, that thing was cool.
And they
Oh, is that
fly.
where that was from? Was Chinese?
Yeah.
I was wondering where that came from. That was cool.
And they part of
That
it
rover?
they hover over the hole where this monster comes out basically, but it doesn't to like bait it into taking it. And then they would blow the EMP.
Yeah, this was horrible.
But he doesn't take the bait because Casey's cell phone is on.
But it was a decent joke when he goes, it's on airplane mode. I was like, that.
Okay, I do remember now why that happened.
Yeah.
Because it goes after biological life with electronics.
Right.
And the space shuttle, the capsule thing was over with just electronics.
With just electronics,
Yes.
no biological life.
Biological.
And so
looking
it doesn't
for a-
work.
It was looking for a hotspot.
And it's about to it's about to eat the space shuttle that they're in. And he smashes his phone to shut it off, and then the monster's like,
Because that's what masculine men do. We smash phones. We
He's
don't
like,
turn them
well,
off.
the monster's like, oh, guess it was nothing.
Well, and he
And just goes
smashes the
back.
remote that's going to detonate the bomb, but he doesn't actually destroy it.
No.
It's still working.
It's still
but for
working
some
'cause they
reason
need
that
it-
was
they need
enough
it for
the
later.
alien thing not to know it was on.
Because they
Of
need it
course,
for later.
But he got to say, I didn't come this far to fail.
Right.
Right. Gotta have these.
Jawline turn. Jawline turn.
All right. The military's like, okay, we're going to nuke the moon. Like, this is now they're just out and out saying it at this point.
But you know what we need to do? Let's make sure they go back to Aspen and catch us up on all of the
Yes.
excitement.
Yeah.
So how close? So Sonny just happened to be nearby the same
Yeah, can I
mountains
just
where his
tell
mother
you-
is.
Can I just tell you, I've made this drive.
Yeah.
From that area in California to Aspen, Colorado is like a day's drive.
Okay.
And it in the snow,
45 minutes in this movie.
it's a very long time.
It took him a half an hour.
But it's a Lexus.
It's a
And it looks like a Lexus commercial. It looks like a winter Lexus commercial. I expected a bow to be on top of the
Aspen
Lexus.
Here's the thing.
Drift.
This whole thing was shot in a basement in California. Not one snowflake, not one piece of mountain in Colorado was actually
No,
filmed.
it was
Not one.
I was totally confused on location and what was
I
happening.
love the B plot of this movie.
It's the best.
Is it a C plot?
It's a C
What-
plot.
No,
It's a
it's a
D
D-
plot.
it's
It's
a
a
D
D
plot.
plot.
So
It's
when
It's
they were
great.
when they were in the Aspen
Yeah.
place with the animal head on the wall, and he has a better idea. He's like, "We have to layer up," and the mom says, "Go get a jacket."
Right. So they get to this home, like Sonny and the Asian
Foreign
Well,
exchange
you
exchange
forget
doing
the
it.
and
hillbillies they
then
meet.
Halle Berry's. Well, we'll get to the hillbillies. Don't worry. We'll get to the hillbillies. One thing at a time. Sonny, Brian's son,
Oh,
happens to
that is-
also be with Halle Berry's son together in the same vehicle
Yes.
because they're escaping the launch site together. Also, is Halle Berry's son's Jimmy, I think was his name. His nanny, which is this foreign exchange student from, well, probably China if it's a Chinese movie.
yeah.
I'm guessing.
They were speaking
Yeah,
Chinese.
she was in
guess.
Megalodon, funded by the same company.
Got it.
The Meg with Jason Statham.
Got it.
Useless
They're all and multiple times, but the first time is they get their car stolen by this band of hillbillies on their way.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. My car's in trouble.
Right. And so
two days.
they lose their car like, well, don't worry, my mom lives literally 10 steps away from here.
Yeah.
It's also good that the son, I don't know what his name is, but he had like
Sonny.
Oh yeah, Sonny. I get it now, on the nose. He had like the street smarts to be like, I'll take this gun and I'm going to kick it under
Yes,
the
yes,
car
I saw
and
that,
then put it in the back of my pants. But he's like this coddled
Yes.
child, I'm
Right.
sure. So he doesn't know that.
Right.
Well, he did get arrested for evading the police.
Did he do it well?
All right. So meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice, they're
I mean, even OJ didn't
they're
get
up
away
in
from the police, so you know.
they're up in space and they're like, here's what we got to do. That didn't work. So we're going to fly into the moon.
Give it a moonoscopy.
We're going to give them. Then so they're flying through the moon and the thing starts chasing it. They realize they're in this, that it is a mega structure.
Yes.
It's been built by some kind of intelligence.
Yes.
And there's moving rings, and there's this. It's a white dwarf
He was very excited about that
Yes.
white dwarf.
inside. But right before they're about to get killed by the giant monster, they're tractor beamed into this room.
So it's a whole new movie now.
Yes, it becomes
Yes.
hard
At an
science
hour and
fiction.
36 minutes.
They're like
New movie.
It becomes
Plot
serious
twist.
hard science fiction all of a sudden.
all out of nowhere.
Like
enjoyed
Red
it.
Planet.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Get to a moon, do stuff.
All right, so back up in Aspen, or back down in Aspen, rather. The moon is sucking the oxygen out of the sky.
Yes.
So
Temporarily.
this is Tom's plan, is to go to the firehouse. This is why they had to layer up and get these oxygen tanks
Yeah, and Tom really is not a bad guy. Like I don't
No,
know
he's not
why
a bad
everyone
guy.
thinks Tom's a bad guy.
because he's rich, and so they're going to
Is that why?
portray him as a bad guy.
Also, the car salesman in any movie is typically
Now, that
not
is
the
true.
best guy.
That
Right.
is
Left
true.
his.
It's a wonderful profession, everyone.
in jail.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, you know,
It's true.
Tough
I
love.
don't care if he sells cars or
Tough love,
baby
tough
wipes. He
love,
left
man.
his kid there.
all right, so
No,
we
he's
got
the
to
one
get
who
through
paid
this.
for the attorneys.
So
Mom.
long story short,
honey.
they get the oxygen things from the fire, but the hillbillies show up and they have a CGI car chase with these hillbillies
Yeah. Oh,
all
dude.
through a town that doesn't exist
Oh man.
yes.
Good thing that they thought about the oxygen tanks at the same time.
at the exact same time.
What a way to show that foreign cars are better than American cars by having them drive Ford F-150s that date back to the 70s, and they're driving a Hyundai.
A Honda that can jump on a floating mountain.
They could jump on a floating mountain. But not those trucks. No, sir. Not American-made
Because
vehicles. We crashed into the side of that things.
Pieces of Earth are being sucked up
Yes.
towards the moon.
Yes.
The vehicles aren't getting sucked up,
Yes. Yes.
No.
but things that weigh a million times more than them are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the people never
No.
get sucked up.
Yeah. I was confused when they go to that encampment and all of a sudden the cars are flying and they go
Yeah.
in the barn and the tractor moves
Yeah.
and then that like saves them somehow.
Why didn't the whole whole
why
shed
didn't the
just
whole
get
shed-
picked
Why
up?
didn't the tractor go through the
So
shed?
this is when we should have had Terminator come in, because this is obviously a Skynet movie.
That's right.
In disguise.
Yes. That would have been better.
With a lot of Death Stars. Also.
Can't believe I'm about to say this. So we go back to the tractor beam room, and Brian wakes up, and now he can breathe, and he has a conversation with the moon.
Yes. And can I also point out that
Talking to the moon.
I would think
And if anybody has seen this type of scene before, you could find it in Mass Effect 3.
Yes. Yes.
Where
Oh yeah.
Commander Shepard talks to the
Oh, you mean that
conduit.
other game where a sentient AI is trying to wipe out organic life?
Yeah, and he talks to a small child
Yes.
at the end of the game.
Sorry, you were going to say something.
I was going to say I would think in a somewhat combat situation you would already have your helmets that provide you oxygen on in case the hull was to be ruptured perhaps so you would not lose oxygen.
So maybe he did forget how to astronaut. Is what I'm.
I think he
maybe
forgot
he
how to
did.
astronaut.
Okay.
They all did.
They all did.
The head of NASA forgot how to astronaut 'cause she wasn't wearing hers either.
All right. So the moon literally gives its backstory
Yes.
in this movie.
Through his children because
like-
it makes it more comfortable for
Right.
him.
So basically, in as short as I can possibly explain it,
They made Halo rings.
humans have existed for long, like a billion years. They were a highly advanced race on another planet. No more war, nothing. Very
Solved all the
technologically
problems.
Everybody
savvy.
has bedrooms that are large
Yes,
and spacious,
spacious.
with no clutter.
No, none. And there's this AI that they have that does everything for them.
Amazon and Google.
It looked like their Alexa, but like just more
More
high-tech
demonic.
Angrier.
and angrier. And all the AIs break. They're all like these like little nanobots.
Yeah.
And so if you've ever seen Big Hero 6, it's kind of a lot like that.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
They ripped off another
I
great
thought
movie.
of come on.
I love Big Hero 6.
Oh, what's the Futurama when the robots revolt? Come on, comrade, green
Yes.
card, and the little phone turns into nanobots and
Yes.
is attacking them and everything.
Rick and Morty would have made this. This should have been a
this
Rick
is
and Morty episode.
And so, but again, I'm trying to keep this quick. There's been a war for a billion years. The humans scattered to the winds. They tried to build these megastructures so they could populate and create new planets to live on.
Yes.
The only one moon that got away was our moon, which then created the Earth. So the moon created the Earth
And our solar system, apparently.
and the solar system. And it was the last one that the AI had to find. The AI has been searching the universe for us. It finally found it's trying to destroy us and the moon.
See, this is what happens when Google and Amazon get your information.
That's right. First, it's just Facebook wanting to show you stuff you might like on Amazon.
Exactly.
Then the moon is crashing into the Earth.
Yep,
right.
absolutely. Delete your apps.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. All right. So now that's all the way. The military is about to launch nukes. And this is one of my other favorite scenes. But Doug is like, I don't know why, but I think my wife is going to save us. Or my ex-wife is going to save us.
My ex-wife is going to save us.
By
don't know
all
if they're
odds, she should have been space dust.
Right.
It does not actually make sense.
He doesn't know that she made it to the moon.
He doesn't even know where to plan it.
Well, he
No.
has faith in her.
He says, the one guy says, this is one of the worst pieces of dialogue in the movie. Our fates are in the hands of your ex-wife. She's never let me down before.
Never let me down.
Like,
You guys are divorced.
you
We
mean
got
other than
divorced.
when you were divorced?
And it's also, she's not just his ex-wife. She is the head of NASA.
Yes,
So like, she's a highly competent person.
she is.
And they would be, I would think, the forefront of the people that probably should be handling
But there was
the
so
moon
much
crisis.
space shrapnel that it shouldn't have worked.
But you also can't
They were in
set
the
up this.
cocoon of the moon.
You can't set up this divorce storyline and then say she's never let me down
Oh,
before.
that's true. They were divorced. He did say ex-wife, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, maybe he let her down.
All right. Well, the moon is getting hella
He's the
close.
Terminator.
At somewhere, a point in this, someone makes the line, the understatement of the year. The moon must survive. Everything depends on it.
Oh yes,
That's a great dialogue.
that is one of the best lines of dialogue in the entire
The moon
thing.
must survive. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the point. If it doesn't, we're all screwed.
The moon is getting hella close, and Michael Pena is walking along with his kids in their oxygen masks.
Because you know what's hard about an oxygen mask?
Hmm.
Is sharing it between two people.
He gives his oxygen mask to his daughter, who's running out of oxygen.
And he says, left, right. Remember that game we played? Left,
Right.
right.
And it's
I
like,
did not trust her to get where she needed to
No.
go.
no.
She's a dumb 10-year-old.
Not only that, but Michael Pena's death face was hysterical. Did you see that face he made when he died? Go back. Don't rewatch the movie.
I can't.
Don't do that. Don't do that to
I
yourself.
Probably
have like
YouTube it.
10 hours left in my
But go back and watch the face he makes when he collapses on the road. I laughed, and it's supposed to be this heartfelt moment. He's like,
Yep. I will. Can I say this about that scene?
Mm-hmm.
That was the only scene I actually felt somewhat emotional about.
"Oh, did you really?"
Only of all of the interactions between the children.
It could have been if they had invested in the relationships
Yes.
of anyone.
Yeah, but I didn't care about anybody.
But that one to me was the only one I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
sort of feel that. Like, as a
Like, oh,
dad, and
well, that's nice of you.
sacrificing, But
Because I couldn't give a crap about
It should
any
have
of
been
them.
an uglier death, really.
Right, if the air's getting,
yeah, I think suffocation's pretty unpleasant.
Yeah.
Right, he just kind of falls over and goes, "Ah." So anyway, Sonny goes back to look for him because the little girl catches up to the group. Like, why are they so far behind?
That's a good question.
He goes back to look for him, but he gets pinned under a tree because literal fire and meteorites and chunks of moon at this point it is so close.
Yeah.
It's raining down asteroids and fire and bombs.
It's hitting mountains.
It's hitting mountains.
Which should totally, if nothing else, break your arms and legs.
Yes. It's
The
hitting,
a tree falling
Sure.
on you?
it
Oh
hit
yeah,
the
If
Empire
hit
State
by-
Building.
it did. And the Chrysler Building
Right.
left New York.
Yeah.
It just gets picked up and taken somewhere else.
I was like, peace out.
And
It was a little hard to watch the New World Trade Center fall too.
yes, that
I
was.
thought that was a little off color.
Anyway, Sonny gets pinned under a tree, and the Asian nanny, Halle Berry's son, literally runs over to like help him with them. And this is the
The
best.
moon's gonna help again.
The moon will help us.
Yes.
Because she's a scientist.
Yeah. Why wasn't he hurt?
Not only why wasn't he hurt, but how can you sit at a computer and type out that line of dialogue and then go, "This is going to be great"? The moon will help
it's like
us.
in A Christmas Story when he's writing about the Red Red Baby gun.
Yes,
Gee, that's great.
that's great. That's what I'm
This is
saying.
a great dialogue. This is gonna win me.
The moon will help us. So they wait for the moon to come. Oh, like again, the moon is killing and destroying
Yes.
everything. The moon comes just close enough to lift the tree, but not them.
No. Yeah. Why are they not listening? That's a good point.
But the tree is lifted up off of them,
Yeah.
and on they go with their lives. Now, the military
It's also getting pummeled now.
is also getting
so
pummeled
they
and
can't
destroyed.
launch their missiles.
No. And so KC, as they're heading back out, KC's like, does the Bruce Willis thing and stays behind to kill the space blob.
Yes. At some point in here, there's some dialogue, and Halle Berry's character says, "It's like trying to kill two birds with one stone."
It is.
That was in a $140 million movie. That
what I'm
line,
saying.
that right there.
It's
So at this point,
stupid.
Casey's pills still.
Yeah. What is he taking pills
If he
for?
takes the wrong one, will he turn into like?
Yeah,
nope.
right.
It doesn't even matter.
Doesn't
It's
matter.
just chiclets.
Please tell me it's blue or whatever he says. Yeah.
That's
Doesn't
a
even
great
matter.
point because at the beginning he's like, "Wait, which one was this?"
I thought it was going somewhere.
And they never told us what he took
No.
those pills
Doesn't matter.
for.
Nope.
Because it doesn't matter.
Anxiety and then IBS, I guess.
So they detach another part of the lander with
Could be IBS, I guess.
Casey in it, and Casey waits till this sentient horrible thing is now inside the machine
Could have
with
killed
him.
him, and it would have all
too. I'm like,
ruined.
Casey, you
Yes.
might want to go a little quicker.
Why don't you just hit the button, my dude?
Yeah. Why are we waiting?
He ends up destroying the monster, and then
I
course,
liked Casey's death and sacrifice.
that was fine.
It was good.
And it's the shortest trip back to Earth ever from a moon mission.
Yeah.
They literally leave the hole and land in the mountains.
I wrote, and
was
they
pretty
were just all together at the end like that.
Well,
Well-
they took a helicopter.
They had to, because originally
They were going to all be
they were
there.
going to have them just land their spacecraft right by where their kids were.
Yes.
And they thought, well, that's too implausible.
So-
that was where they drew the line.
Yeah.
Not having
Yeah,
a white
right,
dwarf
right,
inside
right,
of the
right,
moon
right.
and all this other nonsense, and we're gonna have the moon's gonna suck us up. We don't need an engine, and the moon will help us lift the tree. But you can't. But we gotta have them catch a
But
helicopter
in
to their
addition,
kids.
the Earth wasn't wobbly at all or space dusty or anything. It was just
It's like cleared up. Beautiful sunny day in the mountains.
Dipped.
Did they explain the moon went back to normal?
Yeah, it was going back to its original orbit.
Still, now it lost all of its covering, so it looked
Yeah,
like the
a structure.
What was they call those things? Structures, mega structure. It
Yeah.
It looked
a
like the
because it wasn't in defensive mode. It could go back to its job.
That's right.
Welcome to Mass Effect.
That's right. That's what it looked like. The Citadel.
Because
It
there,
looked like a
it was
circular
full
one.
of produce.
That's right.
Oh
Why-
yeah,
who-
potatoes from that was dumb. This is the smartest group of people.
Then
in
the
that- yeah.
the last thing we see is John Bradley's character is inside the moon now, talking to a construct like
And what was his
Patrick
contract?
Wilson.
What was the cat
Was his
named?
mother was Fuzz Aldrin.
Fuzz Aldrin.
the
It's the cat.
best. And he had a little space helmet on his phone.
Hey, not
His
the world
mom.
was saved by Fuzz Aldrin's
Hey,
peen.
Fuzz Aldrin was awesome.
Yeah.
He's the
On
best
the thing.
character in the movie.
Yeah.
And this whole thing is like, all right, the moon says to John Bradley, he's like, all right, it's time to get to work. He's like, on what? Credits. They set up a sequel.
Ooh, sequel! Can't wait.
That will never happen, but apparently it's a trilogy.
it's supposed to be a trilogy.
Oh man, can you imagine?
Nicole, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you want to see Moonfall 2 and 3?
I am busy that day. It's a low
Busy
number.
every day.
Yeah.
That movie's available to watch.
But I do like John Bradley, actually.
He was good in this.
He's great. Well, right now we're going to do that. We're going to do the thing. We're going to give some awards to the people in this movie that deserve them and some that don't deserve them. And we'll give it its flowers. You're right. It's could still win an Oscar this year. We won't know till March of 2023. But I'm just going to guess that we'll be the only ones awarding it. So what we always do is we start with the Will Patton Award for Intensity. And today from Patreon, we've got Paul Bell playing along with us. So we have Paul Bell is British. It's a Chinese movie
And it's
starring
got a
American
very
actors. So this is
famous
going to be great.
British actor,
It
though,
does.
In what's his name?
So let's talk about it. So the Will Patton Award for Intensity is given to not necessarily the best actor, could be, but the one that gave their performance the most intensity, that they were really, really going for it. Who do you guys think?
I'll start. I thought Patrick Wilson was all the time.
Yes.
I felt like this movie started with him on and just plunged through.
That's right.
He's like Hulk mode, Berserker mode, the whole movie. There's no let up. Everything's off right on.
Everything.
Everything.
Super intense.
Intense. The whole movie through.
That's right.
He was on cocaine the whole time, I bet.
What do you
Okay,
think?
pre-workout.
What do you think, Bob?
I got a list of awards, but for the Will Patton Award,
We'll get to the other ones, yeah.
I will definitely say Patrick Wilson
Patrick Wilson.
because he actually just showed up and like, all
Okay.
right, this is ridiculous, but I'm going to do it.
How about for you?
I don't disagree with Patrick Wilson, but I need to give a shout out to the lady who really, really ordered well through the drive-through of the deli.
She was very
And she wanted to know what that sauce was that
She
was called
did.
I
F
know.
It.
I know.
She did.
I wanted that sandwich. She was so intense in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So that's who it is.
So Paul Bell went with Michael Pena, actually, said that he says he carried the B plot of this movie.
I wouldn't
It was a
disagree
heavy
with that.
burden.
It was
It was it was a heavy burden. My favorite part of the movie. I actually also went with Patrick Wilson, though. I thought he just took it so serious the whole
was
time.
on
He
the
was
whole
like,
time.
I know what a stupid thing this is, but I'm going to give it everything,
Yeah.
which I respect.
I do.
So Patrick Wilson will ultimately win the Will Patton Award for Intensity. Good job, Patrick.
Yay, Patrick.
And today, for our terrible acting award, it's the Michael Dudikoff Trash Can Full of Dirt Award, which is the award we give to the person that showed the acting range of a trash can full of dirt.
If I
So-
could pronounce this man's name, I would
I
suggest
can't-
it be renamed him.
I have it also written down. I think we have the same person. Imi Ikwakfor.
Is this the
Aquafor? It's the guy that played
the
Doug.
general dad.
Is that the ex-husband?
Yes, it's
the
Doug.
general
Yeah,
dad, the five-star general
give that
guy.
award to him. Because he was about as useless as David Hasselhoff.
He was terrible. Oh, come on. You're
I don't know
giving
why.
Hasselhoff a bad name.
I don't know why, but I just feel like my ex-wife is going to save us. Huh? Nukes? What?
Nukes? Absolutely, sir.
Huh?
Every scene exactly the same way.
Because she's never let me down before.
emotion.
Never let me down.
All right. I think, Nicole, all three of us went with him, but who do you got?
I won't fight you about it. So, like, I will say, like, I didn't care about. I don't like to give little kids awards like that because they're just doing what they're doing their thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't care at all. And also, I don't think Patrick Wilson's character cared about his daughters. Were they his daughters?
No,
No.
they were
Tom's.
Lexus guy.
Oh, okay.
and
I was
his
like, he
new
never
wife.
mentioned. Now I understand. Okay,
Yeah.
because they looked a lot like Sonny. Anyway, so then,
Well, they say mom.
sure. Sure.
One night stands can go a long way.
We'll go with Doug. That's fine.
Doug is the
Doug.
well. But it didn't sweep because Paul Bell did what Nicole refuses to do and gave his to Zane Maloney, who played Jimmy, Halle Berry's
Yeah.
kid.
He was
Kid.
terrible.
He was pretty bad.
He was on Jake Lloyd level.
His little subtext here, he says kids can never act properly, so he doesn't think any kids ever can act. I don't agree with that.
Haley Joel Osment.
But
Yeah.
in this case, you're not wrong, Paul. Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the top three performances, this is totally subjective. It doesn't mean that they gave a good performance. It just means it was one of your favorite performances. So who are your top three performers in this movie? Charles.
Halle Berry, number 3.
Okay.
John Bradley, number 2.
Okay.
Donald Sutherland, number 1.
Donald Sutherland with his 2 minutes of screen
He
time.
made the movie for me. I thought the man was dead, and he came out
love
in a
it.
wheelchair and did acting.
I love it.
And it was better than all the other acting in the movie.
Fair
compared
enough.
together.
Who you got? Bob.
Number 1, Patrick Wilson.
Okay.
Number 2, Fat Brit Bagel Man.
John Bradley.
John Bradley. I love that guy. He was good. And then number 3, AI shape-shifting alien.
That
Great
alien
performance.
was awesome, though.
Great performance.
That
Very
was some good
intimidating.
CG. That's where all their money went, was for that thing.
That's
That
what I'm
was cool.
saying. They
That
spent
was
so
cool.
much money on the thing, on the space blob.
And I love how
Hats off to the
march
special
That they-
effects
that they-
computer guy for creating that thing.
Yes, but they spent so much money they couldn't even get the rockets that they stood under to be at the proper angle for where they were standing. It still looked like it was going.
They should.
You know what I'm talking about? Like this way.
They should have gotten the rockets from Megaforce.
Nicole, who were your top three favorite performances?
So, although it took a little time for him to warm up at the very beginning, John Bradley, I think, was
Yeah.
number 1. Oh, can I not go in that order?
You can do whatever you
I'm
want. There's no
doing it.
rules.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And then I'll just tie Halle and Patrick for 2 and 3 because I think
Okay.
she, was like fighting. And she did well in a lot of the scenes, but they
Yes.
just it's where she was placed and plunked. And Patrick again was.
She just was given nothing
Yeah,
So she was swimming upstream.
up the whole time.
Yeah.
So for my for number 3 was Patrick Wilson. Again, it was I thought he really Sigourney Weavered this part. I felt like.
Yeah.
He did.
Okay, like in Galaxy Quest, she's like, I have one job. It's stupid, but I'm going to do it.
I wonder what verb I would be one day. I got to think about that more.
Okay. Donald Sutherland got number 2 for me,
Oh,
so he
good
made
for
my
you.
top 3.
I like it.
But I got John Bradley at number 1. He's just great. Even in a sucky movie,
Yeah.
he's just
He
great.
brought a life and a vivacious.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, this movie gave him a vehicle for whatever he's going to do next.
Which is anything he wants.
He's talented.
Paul Bell came in with Halle Berry at number 3, said did her normal thing of being pretty while acting smart. Number 2, he gave to Patrick Wilson. He said it's always good to see someone who knew what this film is about and acted accordingly. And number 1, John Bradley, and again, he's British. He said this is a biased choice because I'm British, but he quotes Alec Guinness, another legendary British actor, but Alan Rickman. He said, quote, if any person is British in the film, this makes them the better actor regardless.
That's a very true.
If you told me that Patrick Wilson is a distant cousin of Alan Rickman, I would.
You'd believe it, yeah, right? Yeah.
What is Patrick Wilson known for?
The Conjuring, Aquaman.
A lot of independent films, and then A-Team.
He looked familiar.
He's always
Is he in
associated.
A-Team?
Yeah, he plays the villain
Yeah.
in A-Team.
He's
He's always
Xena Warrior Princess.
Oh,
Now-
yeah, that's the movie.
he's always
yes.
associated with
Yes,
Chris Pratt.
Now here's
That's it.
the other
18.
thing.
There we go.
If
Fargo.
any of you that listen to the Wraith episode, Nicole, you wouldn't know about this yet unless you listen. But Bob was campaigning back then for a Hot Babe Award, that we should give an award every episode to the hottest babe. in the movie.
Absolutely.
And all of us, besides Bob, said, no, we're not doing that.
Yes.
Okay. But ultimately, I said, but Bob, if you specifically on episodes that you're on want to give out a Hot Babe Award, you can.
Oh, I will.
We're not going to, but you're also required to give out the Hottest Dude Award in the movie, too.
Well, I'll start out with
which is called the Rain Award.
Yes.
Yes.
So who's your Rain Award winner?
The Hottest Dude Rain Award winner is Patrick Wilson.
Patrick
That's
Wilson.
fair.
For the ladies, you love Patrick Wilson.
The jawline on that
Pat
guy.
myself on his jawline.
The eyelashes, that hair, the V-neck with his, it's gorgeous.
Perfectly tailored spacesuit.
And
Dude.
when he's driving in the actual
I wanna-
space shuttle, whatever, he doesn't move left and right, but the other people are like, oh.
Right.
Give me $5 and a bucket of soap, I'll make that guy shine.
That guy's so attractive. This unrealistic. His wife
Right.
would divorce him.
The moon monster was like, dang, what's up, dude?
Damn, well, yeah, exactly. Awesome.
When you fly up to the moon
Crush
and just
on
want to chill for a while.
Had a crush on him. She just wanted to spend time with him.
All right, so who's your Sherilyn Fenn Award winner?
My Sherilyn Fenn Hot Babe Award winner is obviously Halle Berry.
All right, that's
Okay.
fair.
Obviously.
Were there any other?
There's nobody else. I mean,
The lady who ordered through the drive.
Thank you. Thank you.
She aged like milk.
I will say to the Casey's mom, it was
Yeah,
cool to
she
see her
was-
speak without dementia at the end.
Yes.
Kind of neat to see that.
That was cool.
I was happy
Yeah.
that she got rid of her bad bangs in 13 years prior. That she
Right.
was, yeah.
We're still on Hallie.
We're still on
Hallie.
Okay.
Oh, we're still on Hallie? I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about the mom, the ex-wife mom.
All right. Now follow me with this because I had to find a place for Arnold Schwarzenegger in this movie.
Oh,
Okay?
dude, I'm right here
The
with you. Let's
Terminator
go.
comes in for Skynet.
That was perfect, okay? Because if the AI had just, but that's why I thought if the AI was going to have a construct, instead of it being his son, what if it had been Arnold Schwarzenegger was the moon, right? and he comes in, he's like, hello, how are you?
How you doing?
Welcome to the moon.
we got the shopping centers
That's
going.
right. It's
We got
much better
Bruno Mars
in
singing a song about
California.
talking to me.
That's right.
Oh, God.
We must save it before we crash into California.
Arnold versus Moon. Arnold jetpacks to the moon and single-handedly punches alien tech in the face.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
And resets
So I
the
don't
whole
think it's an
moon.
award for it, but
No.
I want to note that like the wardrobe department didn't do their due diligence of like roughing up anything.
Anything.
No.
It was all out of the
Nothing.
box from Amazon. Or
That's why it was very hard for me to get a Babe
was all.
Award winner. I was
All
like,
right. Well,
I didn't see very much, but that's okay.
I'm sorry, Bob.
That's
Halle
okay.
Berry had every inch but the back of her hands covered the whole thing. I know it's disappointing for
with
you.
ironed jackets.
With
Yeah,
Sure.
that is those are the best spacesuits ever. Couldn't
right.
have just burn off half a
Embroidered.
leg or something.
Even in Galaxy Quest, Sigourney Weaver's spacesuit is ripped in half by the time the movie's over.
Yeah,
Have you seen that movie?
It's kind of sad that we've referred to Galaxy Quest. which
Nicole
is a
wants nothing to do with this
legitimately
conversation.
No, I
Awesome
did.
movie.
I did see it.
an awesome
Legitimately awesome movie. Comparing it in any way to this is kind of sad.
You're right. You're right.
This
I
is
won't do
not-
it.
All right, so we have to make a final determination. We've performed the autopsy, and now we have to declare if this thing is dead or how it died or whatever. We always say at the end, okay, so it's a subjective married with the objective. Was it a good movie, full stop? Was it a bad movie with no qualifier? It was bad objectively and subjectively bad. You hated it? Or was it a bad movie that you liked? Was it a bad movie that rules in that
And
case?
we're not talking about like the actual concept of the film. It's just how it was executed.
How it was executed.
All right.
Yeah. Because I think there's lots of, and we talked about this the last few episodes, we should be remaking bad movies instead of good movies everybody loves.
Yeah.
There's movies that had good concepts that just were executed so terribly they bombed. This might be one.
This movie has a chance to be a passable movie.
Yeah.
If you take out everything.
And do it in cartoon.
No, if I could buy the idea of the moon being a construct from an alien civilization,
Yeah.
and I could buy the idea that if this thing attacks and starts drilling in, all of a sudden you have a major crisis. Mm-hmm. If NASA takes that seriously and gets real scientists and real astronauts and real people together to say, we have a problem, let's go deal with this. You could still get to the moon. You could still do all the hard sci-fi stuff of fighting the aliens and learning about our ancestors.
Instead of doing the...
And it would still, and the danger, of course, is the moon's going to blow up, which is a huge problem.
Right.
So that you have enough intensity and fear to make it
Just in the concept.
justifiable, just
Yeah.
in the concept, because you don't want that to happen. You could get really close, the moon starts to move, and stuff starts to go wrong on Earth, and then they defeat it, and you have a pretty awesome
That'd be great.
Action, sci-fi, and movie.
And the answer is they blow a giant hole in it, so it's always a crescent moon forever from now
Something
on.
like that, or you just kill the cool thingy.
Well,
and-
things eventually spin and spin and spin until they become round again, I think.
Oh, will
A
they?
lot of times.
Oh, well,
That's why they're all
maybe.
round. They just
And they
spin a
could
lot.
even try to keep it secret from the population that they not know, and then you have a sequel set up.
lose
that could be
chunks.
Either way, I think it could be good. I agree
this
with
movie,
you. Yes, is
movie-
it good or
this
bad or
movie's
what?
dead on arrival. It's crap.
A bad movie that's
This
bad.
is a bad movie that's bad all the way through.
All right.
It's so the concept is so preposterous that you're like everyone's dead. There's no real peril.
You're saying they should, if they took it seriously, it'd be good, but because it's like grizzled alcoholic ex-astronaut and guy that works at the drive-through is who NASA sends up to fight this thing. It's stupid.
It's just the whole concept.
Right.
The whole concept of the moon actually moving that way is going to ruin.
It
There's
didn't have
just
Steve Buscemi.
there is no. There's no coming back from that, right? Everyone.
Why
just
you bring a
needs
gun
to-
in space?
Everyone just needs to pray to Jesus that they go to heaven when they die, because that's all that's going to happen, and
right.
the world is over.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's so preposterous that no one can actually be in peril.
Fair enough. All right, Bob, what's your verdict on this movie?
Bad movie that rules.
Bad movie that rules. Why? So you're saying it's objectively a bad movie?
I like alcoholics and
No, I'm
guys.
saying you said you recognize that it is a bad movie, but you personally like it.
Was he
Yeah,
an
I thought
alcoholic?
Okay. I'm just assuming it's so cliched.
No, I thought there was moments of it that I really enjoyed, and there was moments of it I laughed at, and there was moments that I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, I never looked at it and been like, how dare they make this movie? I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
you decided to take $140 million and give it to
Light it on fire.
light it on fire or give it to a blind person. I mean, that's your problem, not mine. But yeah, it's entertaining.
Hey, if you got the money,
If you got the money to light on fire, by all means. I mean,
it's a great way to spend a summer.
There's starving people in
Hey.
China who could have used that money for food.
China's fine.
Remember that old line? Every old movie.
All right, Nicole, how about you?
I hate to say it, but it's a movie that's just bad.
Just bad.
Despite having a cat named Fuzz Aldrin.
I know. Buzz Aldrin was awesome.
All right, look. This is a bad movie that rules.
No way.
Thank you.
No.
This, it's fine that we're
believe
split in
it.
half. It's okay.
It's a bad-
I fully acknowledge it is. I would even go a step forward and say it's a terrible movie that rules. It's not good objectively as a film, as a filmmaker in any way, shape, or form. Everything from the way it was shot to some of the worst CG to the script to all the decisions about all that stuff was all terrible. But it was so bonkers and so dumb
too much for me.
and hilarious and stupid that I had a lot of fun watching it. That I would definitely watch it again.
To make fun of it.
As a comedy, I would watch it.
Okay.
I got
Do you know what I'm
to
saying?
like
Yeah.
the halfway point of that movie, and I'm like, is this movie almost over? And I pause it, and I was literally disappointed that there was like an hour left.
That happened to me.
And I had to go to bed and get ready to go to church and do my job. And then
Yeah.
I finished it this afternoon.
I'm sorry.
And I woke up this morning going, did I watch something last night? It's a bad movie.
Okay. Well, we're
This is
split,
gonna
so
be
we're gonna
riveting video.
we're gonna leave it. We're gonna. I know
I'm
it's
fixing-
Bob
trying to
messing
fix
with.
it.
Dude, don't do it harder. You're gonna
trying
you
to
can't
do it
pay for it.
It broke.
It's been broken. So like for the last 4 episodes,
How am I supposed to know that?
for the last 4 episodes, whoever sat over there
Just walk away.
has had to mess with it.
I'm trying to fix it.
Cover it up. We didn't do it. We didn't do it. Loop Commons owner
So
guy.
overall,
So watch if you're on this boat, go watch the YouTube. The last 5 minutes has been Bob looking like Brian
this
from
scene-
NASA.
I'd watch a movie on
trying
that.
to-
This scene is a metaphor for this movie.
if we only had Kaspersky protection,
All right.
could have been.
Goodbye.
Next week we got to talk about next week. Well, but first of all, I have to also say that Paul Bell also said that this was a bad movie that rules.
Oh my gosh.
So
Taking 3-2.
3-2 is what it is.
You got-
But I
be-
understand. I totally understand the idea of it being a movie that is bad, but rules if you're looking at it that way. But
Right.
I'm saying bad because the execution is poor.
Yes. But did you enjoy it?
No.
And if the answer is no, then it's still just a
Yeah.
bad movie.
All right.
And that's
I did
okay.
not enjoy it.
Because there's the execution, that's the objective part of it, right? And then the subjective part of it is whether you liked it or not.
Yeah, it wasn't me laughing. It was me going, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I did not enjoy it.
Right. I understand. And that's fine. And that's totally fine. And I'm sure there's lots of people that feel the same way. Next week, I'm sure there's also a lot of people that feel the same way about this movie because we're going to be talking about a movie with another giant worm that's trying to kill people. Instead of one coming out of the moon, it's coming out from the desert, and it's Tremors.
I fully accept that I was not able to actually end up being on that episode.
Yeah.
I accept that.
Okay.
But
Well, here's your chance to defend
I'm just going
it.
to say that
Yeah.
I love Tremors. It is a good movie, full stop. Enjoyable, fun, funny
Wow.
concept, great acting.
Well, here you
Reba McEntire's first role.
you get Charles's take because he won't be on the
Awesome.
episode. So here's his take right here.
But I got booted.
No, that's okay. Well,
I understand.
scheduling works
I know.
sometime. But Charles,
I love Tremors. Now,
Good
I don't
movie,
know about the rest
straight.
of them, but
I-
Tremors 1 was awesome.
I haven't watched it in 20 years, so I don't remember if I liked
good.
it or not.
It's funny. It's entertaining.
Reba McEntire gets my hot babe award in that movie.
Reba McEntire's hilarious.
Can you forecast if you think that the worm will be a good actor on your list of top 3?
If I remember right, Kevin Bacon was about on the same acting level as the worms.
Well, Bacon kind
Awesome.
of plays there.
It's got Fred Murray,
As a
right?
noun.
Fred Ward.
Ward. He just passed
Michael
away
Groves,
too.
Fred Ward, Kevin Bacon, my top 3 performers.
That's a
Okay.
great
Hot Babe Award, Reba McEntire, Hot Dude
She's
Award,
awesome in that.
Hot Dude Award.
Fred Ward.
Fred Ward.
Fred Ward. Let's go.
Let's go.
and you gotta fight worms,
That's right.
sandworms.
Such a good movie.
It's a great movie.
Was that just Footloose? I had said
Sure
Footloose?
was.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, like, I appreciate you taking the 2 hours and 10 minutes it took to watch a movie about the moon crashing into the air.
Hours
That was
and
2 movies.
10
What are you talking about?
It was fun. It was enjoyable.
I'm glad you guys. Well, regardless of whether it was, this was fun and enjoyable. So
Sure was.
I appreciate you guys coming, and thank you for listening. We'll catch you on the next one, guys. Take care.
So how are we going to handle this?